Hi, everybody. My name is Coach Adrian Ding. It's such an honor and a pleasure to be joining you in your living rooms, PCs, or tablets for personal branding tips. And once again, my name is Coach Adrian Ding, and what I do is I train and develop people so that they can become a better version of themselves through life-changing training programs in leadership and personal branding. Today, we're going to be talking about personal branding and why your personal brand becomes a differentiator for you, especially in the busy, crowded, new normal marketplace that you and I are involved with. And so I'd like to share with you briefly 5 important things that make up your personal brand. And if you can have 4 of these 5, or if you can have all 5, you have a sizable advantage. All right. So you know how it is, ladies and gentlemen, when we were in high school, we were given this mentality that it's all about grades. And then when we got into college, it's not just grades anymore. It's your accomplishments, your awards, and how many extracurricular activities you're engaged in. And then when we graduated, we realized that we also had to pursue kind of like a master's degree because that's added knowledge, or it's another ace on your sleeve. But at the end of the day, nobody really cares how intelligent we are, because what matters to them, if we want to be successful in our respective careers, whether we're climbing the corporate ladder, becoming an entrepreneur, or a freelancer, is that people buy into us based on our personal brands. And your personal brand, specifically your credibility, is your unique differentiator compared to everybody else in the pack. Now, why do I say that? Because you're not the only professional in your field. There's so many other talented, intelligent, and gifted individuals just like you. So the question is, what will set you apart? I believe it's your personal brand. And to make that up, you need to have at least 5 of these. Very, very important, should we say, factors or criteria. Let me share them with you today. So the first one starts with the letter E, all right, and ends with a letter E as well. Make a wild guess what it is. Well, it's actually this one over here. It's called your expertise. I love what Daniel Pink said. He's the best-selling author of the book Drive. Human beings are driven because of 3 things: purpose, autonomy, and mastery. What is mastery? The ability for you and I to be able to master a certain skill that we can be proud of, that becomes what we call our signature or trademark, right? It gives meaning into the lives of other people, and it makes us also live a meaningful life. So the question is, what are you good at? What is your strength? What is a certain skill that compared to other people you have that others don't, that you yourself, you're very, very proud of? You need to master one certain skill that will take you to different places in your career. Expertise, that's number 1. Here's the second one. Aside from that, we need to make sure that we back it up with the right what? The right work ethics. You probably heard the saying before that, talent is nothing without hard work, because hard work beats talent when hard work doesn't work hard, or talent doesn't work hard rather, right? And so we've got to reinforce whatever expertise we have with such great work ethics. For example, you can be very talented with sales, but if you're not making the calls to reach out to people, no one's going to show up. No one's going to buy your product or your service. We've got to back up our expertise with high-performing work ethics. Number 3, also very essential, is what we call our people, right? People what? People skills, all right? People skills. This is a day and age where EQ is far more important than IQ. And so it's very, very critical for you and I to be a leader. And if we're going to be a leader, then we have to be influential. But for us to influence people, we need to have what we call people skills. And for you to have people skills, you've got to have a very high emotional quotient. Why? It's very easy to work with programs and systems and, all these tech. At the end of the day, human beings have feelings. And sometimes it's very hard to drive certain behaviors and attitudes. People skills also means that you have this ability to connect with people, not just in the cerebral or the intellectual side, but you can connect with them from an emotional standpoint. And so people would rather follow a leader who's influential, who's great around people, as against a leader who is so intelligent, but is a tyrant and a dominant leader that nobody else wants to follow, right? So that's another thing that's highly important. Let me give you the fourth one. All right, it starts with letter C. And this is something that most people neglect, right? Especially in this new normal economy. It's called commitment. I said a while ago that it's important for us to choose one sector, one industry, something that you're very, very good at. But the tendency for you and I, as we reinvent ourselves, is that we have this habit or tendency to be doing so many things, like being a jack of all trades and a master of none. You and I, sometimes we're what we call corporate grasshoppers. We're hopping from one job to the next to make ends meet, simply to survive and then thrive. But what we do not understand is that there's no perfect boss, no perfect company, no perfect product or service or compensation available out there. There is something called commitment, because if you are confused about something that you're doing, can I tell you something? You are also confusing the people that you'd like to work with. They can't really tell, what are you focused on? Remember, what you focus expands, what you starve dies. If you're doing too many things at the same time, you're not committed. How will people focus their attention on your product, on your service, and on you? All right, that's the fourth one. And finally, the fifth one, this is very, very critical. And this is something also that we oftentimes neglect, all right? Is that sometimes when we do business, we're very, very, We're very transactional, but we're not relational. We need to have what we call a passion to serve, a passion to serve. And so if you want to have a strong personal brand, people want to remember you as somebody who genuinely cares about their interests, somebody who's not self-centered, but somebody who's other-centered. Somebody who's very customer-centric or focused around the needs of the customer. Because at the end of the day, it's not about self-promotion, it's about value creation, right? And we need to have what we call a passion to serve. If you're kind of like confused, like what exactly is my purpose and my calling, here's a good word for you, all right? We find ourselves when we lose ourselves in the service of others. We find ourselves when we lose ourselves in the service of others. And so the more we serve, the more we give back, the stronger the recall will be. So, my dear friends, remember these 5 very simple things. Simple, but not necessarily easy. They're not instantaneous. They are progressive, because practice does not make perfect. Practice makes progress. So 5 things: expertise, work ethics, people skills, your commitment, and a passion to serve. Bring all these 5 together and you have the big C, which is called credibility. And the more credible you are, the more you define your unique personal brand. Have a great day, everybody.